A very good afternoon, everybody, and welcome along to the WEPF World Team Championships live from Agadir, Morocco. Huge game this afternoon as Northern Ireland take on Morocco.
Yeah, big game this one for both teams, but for very different reasons. Morocco in 7th place in the table with 2 games to go. Top 6 make it through to the playoffs. Northern Ireland in 2nd place in the table. Top 2 make it directly into the semi-finals. Both teams desperate need of a win. Morocco, though, with the home advantage and probably a little bit more required, because if they lose, they're likely to be out of the competition.
Jawad Tabit breaking off for Morocco, and he's going to scratch straight off the break. This match has a lot on the line, as Simon just said. Huge consequences for both. If you are just joining us for the first time on YouTube, this is the World Team Championships. We have 15 nations here. Top 6 make it through to the next stage, with the top 2 going straight into the semi-finals and positions 3, 4, 5 and 6 into the playoffs. As it stands, most teams have 2 matches still to play, and Morocco, Malta and Australia are still live and in with a chance of making the playoffs. Wales, Ireland and India are vulnerable. France and Northern Ireland, were they to lose their remaining matches, could technically still be vulnerable. The only team that's qualified through and safe into the top 6 is England with 20 points. They've played 12, won 10, lost 2.
There are some other games going on live as well. I can tell you England have already won, although the game's not finished yet, and Wales have already won as well. So, and Malta, in fact. So there's some points going on the board there, making it even tougher for Morocco. They are desperate need of this win.
It's Declan Brennan at the table on the left for Northern Ireland, and Ronan McCarthy at the table on the right, although that is a rare miss from the world champion.
Clever shot from Deck there, really giving himself a chance now. Just trying to work out the order he wants to take the final 4. I think the 8 ball goes in the middle, but there's not a huge amount of room to land nicely on it.
Imagine it'll just be a safety for Morocco. It's not particularly easy to hide this cue ball, but he's done a pretty good job of it. Very nice.
Deck's come awkward here. I think he's come too far up the table. Getting position onto the next ball is really tough because you can't get to the right-hand side of those yellows very easily. Okay, dropped it in so he can take the yellow top
nice.
right. Yeah, he had lots of angle there, had to really kill that in. But again, if he's straight, he's in trouble here. If he's straight, he can only go up the table and leave the thin yellow bottom left, and then getting on the 8 ball's a tough ask. He needs some angle here just to stun across to the right. Yeah, had the perfect angle, in fact.
What a shot.
Really well worked out finish this from Deck.
Yeah, high tariff this from Declan the Destroyer. Over on the right side table, it's Anna Abrouk at the table for Morocco. Not seen too much of Abrouk in this competition. Lovely finish from Declan Brennan to put Northern Ireland 1-0 up.
Great stuff from Declan. Very classy finish. One of the best players in the world. He'll be one of the big favourites to win the world title in the individual event. He'll be getting underway later on this afternoon in that. All the top seeds will be joining the tournament. But that's for later on. Right now, it's all about the teams and the final, or penultimate, team game. It's good that he's got plenty of angle here. He can slide across the table and play both yellows in the same pocket. I mean, he could look to play a cannon, but that would be dangerous. If the natural works from here, then just accept it.
That's a lovely shot from Abruk. He
Hit
might have to just play a good shot here to get comfy on the 8-ball. He might just accept distance, but he's done well to get hit.
He'd have loved to have catched that red full in the face just so he'd have a shade more angle on this one, but he's got just about enough to get down the table.
It's okay. But even at this early stage, this feels like a pressure 8-ball for Morocco. And Anna Abruk knows it. Gets up off the shot. Tries to dot the I's and cross the T's. Shot. Heart of the pocket, hammered in by Anas Abruk of Morocco. That's a relieved looking man going back in the shed for the Moroccans. Meanwhile, over on the other table, it's just got underway. Amin Amiri has scratched off the break for Morocco. Means Rab McCullough comes to the table for Northern Ireland. 1-1.
How good was that? Lovely counter clearance after the Rona mistake. Very polished. Standard's been fantastic in the opening couple of frames. 2 high quality finishes. And a good chance here for Rab to have another one. These are laid out very nicely for him. Very inviting.
Always worth pointing out, especially to our viewers, maybe watching for the first time this week here at the World Championships, that team pool is like nothing else. The expectation and the weight that comes with playing for your country. No finish. Absolutely no finish is easy. The reason why you see these big reactions and the big celebrations when the success is reached is because the pressure is so much out there. It's a release when that 8-ball goes in.
Yeah, it's like nothing else. Can't compare it to an individual event. And Rab's gone too far. Yeah, that's going to cause him half an issue. It sounds silly to say with a ball that's almost hanging over a pocket, but that was his tricky ball. Just because you want to get as straight on it as possible.
Gary Clark breaks off for Northern Ireland. Makes a ball too, and he's got a presentable chance. Rab could just screw straight back through the middle here. It's not bad. He's hit the gap.
Yeah, that was really clever. He knew if he bumped the 8-ball, he can overhit the shot. It gives him the window, so he's guaranteed it by just a soft controlled cannon into the 8-ball. Good thinking. And now he can just float into space.
Yeah, very tidy from Rab McCullough. Ultimate Pool Challenger Series player, has been to a final, I believe. But he's one of those players, and there's plenty of them here this week in Morocco, that are just elevated to another level when playing for their country. McCullough has been as good as anyone this week, and that run continues.
He really has been one of the leading lights for Northern Ireland, and a team full of stars. I think there's 4 Ultimate Pool professionals in their team, and he's been one of their standout players. It shows you how well Rab's played this week.
Yeah, just talking on the individual stats, the player who's won the most frames in the entire tournament is from Morocco. It's Abdurrahman Choufi, who's gone along at a really good click as well for the Moroccans. We'll see him in action in a few frames' time. He's got Ronan Fay in the first set of matches here. He's gone along at a near 70% click. Top of the percentages. This may surprise you. May. Top of the percentages, Mr. Tom Cousins.
Yeah, I mean, he's been used sparingly by Wales as well, which is quite incredible. So the fact that he could win the most frames, he's still in with a chance of that with a couple of matches to go. and yet he's playing less than other players. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, he's won 24 out of 31, which is an amazing record. Just behind him, by the way, on the percentage at least, Shane Thompson, 22 from 30, and Ronan McCarthy, 24 from 33. Those are your top three in terms of the percentage. Always think the number of frames won is a good indicator, but for me the percentage is important too. And while we're at it, a big shout out to Jeremiah Naidu of South Africa, 25 out of 36, 77%, 69%.
He was fantastic when we got to see him on our TV table, wasn't he? The way he held himself and conducted himself around the table, the amount of positivity he was showing was absolutely fantastic. So great to see those stats. And
the one thing you would say about Northern Ireland, team of stars they may be, Ronan McCarthy, the reigning world champion, but he's been so well backed up. Gary Clark, Ryan Marcus, Robert McCullough, all going along at just about 70%. They've got exactly the same record, 23 wins from 33 frames. And actually, if Declan Brennan sort of comes to the party a little bit, he's only rolling along at just over 50%. Northern Ireland could well be near unstoppable. Of course, there's so much to consider when you take into consideration those percentages. You never know who you're playing. You might not even get a touch of the table.
And he does play lead off for most of the matches, does Declan.
Gary Clark gets his job done. Super stuff from Gary. Now, how about young Ryan Marcus? What a player he has been for Northern Ireland at this tournament. Still so young. And he has been ice cool. He's the youngest on this team by a little way. He's been taking plenty of grief off his older teammates who naturally, as soon as you get that young fella into the mix, he's always the most picked on. But he's taken it all in great spirit and a great addition to this team.
It tells you what they think about him, that they sent him out for the anchor leg.
Oh.
I mean, and he held up and he took it down as well when we saw them earlier on in the tournament against Ireland. It just shows you the belief they have in him.
Ryan Marcus has a win against Tom Cousins on his resume in a fully fledged Pro Series match, which shows you the level he is capable of performing at. As with a lot of young players, it's about finding that consistency, about finding that constant level. But Ryan, for me, has as good a chance as any. Breaking off on the right side, Dylan Leary for Northern Ireland. And that is a lethal cut break from Lethal Leary. He's made a ball. But as always with the cut break, that's what can happen. You make a ball, you get a chance, and then you look at the layout, and it's just a little bit horrible.
A messy one. To be honest, that's the sort of layout I associate with Team Pool as well, where it's very bitty, very tricky. You've really got to work yourself out and find something. Ryan's in good shape here. The red below the 8-ball goes bottom right. The 8-ball doesn't have a pocket. Maybe enough showing to go bottom left if you can get there, but I suspect you may be looking at just a little bump when he plays the last red. Not great if he's straight. If he's straight, he can't get low on the red, which means he then can't play the bump, so he'd need the 8-ball to go, or he probably would maybe have to play for a double. If he can just, maybe he's got just enough angle to get just below the straight. He had the perfect angle, in fact.
Cash ball in the frame then for Ryan Marcus. Oh, and it's not gone well.
Yeah, the previous shot he had the perfect angle and he just underhit it. You had to be... He probably needed to reach the cushion on the previous shot. And just left himself that hair too straight. Oh, he's now looking at right centre. I think he has to make it clean. It doesn't. I don't know if it squeezes in off the yellow. I think he has to go clean here. He'll go close to this though. He'll go
Still
very
a
close.
Massive shot. Doesn't quite get the line and scratches for good measure. So cue ball in hands for Usama Al-Maskini. One of Morocco's leading lights.
Dylan's got the angle to move some reds around here. He's trying to be precise, so you can see he's trying to hit the red in such a way that he's going to ping all his balls open. That's not bad. May not have been exactly how he played it. Difficult to say, but I don't think that's too bad for him. He's certainly on the red. It's just whether he can just open it up. Still two, at least maybe three delicate shots required for Dylan. Fully expect Usama to run through this counter clearance. Question when he wants to go up the table, as in easier to get on the 8 ball nicely from a ball at the bottom of the table. And Dylan has played that beautifully. Just bumping the red out the way so that he opens up the red to the bottom left. Now, does he have an angle where he can get through to it into that pocket? Dylan's come up short. That was such a small gap he was trying to find. Often the way with these delicate finishes where you've got to be very precise and pick it apart. The last shot or two gets really difficult. Wow, very surprising miss from Usama. Surprising the way he wanted to play that as well, to come back across the yellow. You'd think he'd just be dragging it in to leave plenty of angle and almost come down the table and back in line. And he's got away with it. Full ball snooker for Ryan, but it gives him another opportunity to come up with something big off a cushion. Not a surprise to see Dylan foul. He was in a tough spot there. Morocco will get the chance for the counter clearance on the right-hand side as well. Where's the 8 ball?
Where is that 8 ball? Up it stays.
I tell you what, that is a great result for Ryan, though. Cue ball staying on the table for the starter, but I think the 8 ball blocks the yellow to right centre.
Bouchaib Farhat. It is who comes to the table on the right side after Dylan broke down. Chance to make it 3-2.
Is he going long, or does it sneak in the middle for Usama? He's going long. What a shot that is from the little tiger.
Woohoo!
That was brilliant. He was bang under it after missing the easy pot in the previous visit as well.
Brilliant from the small tiger. Usama Maskini in business and gets Morocco back in it at 3-2. Teammates enjoyed that one. And they're enjoying the work as well of Bouchaib Farhat. Yeah, perfect.
Oh,
He'd have loved that to have sat.
He just left himself the wrong side of that ball. He would love to have been the other side, so he could have just rolled through and bumped into the red. And that's the reason he's awkward on the 8.
He's doubling it, is he?
I think so.
And it flies. Boucher Farhat gets the victory. 2 frames in succession from Morocco, and it's 3-all after 6.
So 1 more frame left in the first set of 7, as in the time where players can be subbed in, and we go to our second rotation of 7. And it is the leading player for Morocco in this year's tournament that's going to be getting us underway in this one.
Yeah, Abdurrahman Shorfi has been absolutely outstanding for Morocco. He's been their gun player. He's won more frames than anyone else at this tournament, and he's done so at a very, very good rate as well. He has played 36 frames. He has won 25 of them. Just as I was saying, he's won the most frames of anyone at the tournament, by the way. That's no longer correct. Wales have won their most recent game. Tom Cousins is currently top of the chart and going at 80% for good measure.
Yeah.
But
I think the world.
Morocco haven't finished their match
No,
yet.
that's true. He's the best player in the world, and his stats show that as well. Some lick he's going at in this tournament.
Declan Brennan to the table over on the other side to start off set 2 of the matches. He takes on Amin Amiri. Abdurrahman Shorfi is the last man out in set 1. He takes on Ronan Fay. Synchronized 8-ball. Cue ball. That's tough.
And look at this split for Ronan Fay. Just laid out lovely for him. The reds are just perfect. He doesn't necessarily need to play a cannon. He could if he wanted to, just to develop the red on the right-hand side, but equally, he could just play on it, drop it down, and he's got connections from it. So this is just really nice.
Northern Ireland rather, are the home team, which means they get to pick their starting 7. They pick an order, and it's up to Morocco to then fulfill the different matches on the other side. But it is no coincidence to see Ronan Fay go last, and last. He's the 7th man up. He is the Iceman. He is the finisher for this Northern Irish side. They put out Declan Brennan and Ronan McCarthy early, and it's up to Ronan Fay and Dylan Leary to get the job done at the end.
I think Ronan may be just going for the cannon. Oh, he's looking up the table. I would have been tempted to leave the one up the table to connect to the one left centre. It doesn't really need to. 8 balls in such a strong position. Just would have been tempted if you are going to play a cannon to get it done early. Great chance for Deck on the right as well.
I know you're not generally a fan of cannoning into balls. Are you tempted to play the cannon here if you're Ronan?
Yeah, I think so, because it's quite tight to land on it, and I think it's such a controlled cannon that he's going to be barely moving it. It's just going to be a little bump down.
Well, it's come out lovely.
Yeah, that little flick on the yellow on the way through wasn't by design. He was hoping to go clean so that it'd stay on the red to the bottom left. And actually, it's come out really well for him, but for a second there, he may have feared that it wasn't going to.
Slightly awkward queuing for the big man. He's cued that in nice. He wants to leave himself plenty of angle on his final red on the bottom rail because he wants to come up nicely into the middle of the table, and that is job done for his final red, and then the 8 ball waiting. Oh, it stays up. That's a surprise. That looked like a big pocket for Declan Brennan.
Yeah, just lacked the pace. Anything but straight for Ronan Fay. Plenty of angle so that you can just make the pot and Cue ball takes care of itself. Pace control. One ball pass straight is perfect. Just doesn't want to leave it significantly with angle. Either way, really. I mean, he can deal with it if it happens, but we want it as simple as possible.
It's just perfect from Ronan Fay. Perfect visit. Ice cool as ever. I think Amin Amiri's missed his cannon. I'm almost certain he was playing into those balls.
Yeah, that caused him a little bit of a headache. Maybe he should look at some sort of loss of turn option.
Look what it means to Ronan Fay. End of the first set then. All 7 players have played, and Northern Ireland take a 4-3 lead into the second third of the match. Amin Amiri has been one of Morocco's best players at this tournament. He's got a really high percentage of frames won. He's won a lot for this Moroccan side. But I will say, when we have seen Morocco on this main table, he has, for me, just struggled a little bit. Not quite performed to the level which I think we think he can.
Just that I think the errors have been surprising. He's played some really good stuff, but the errors have not almost been the simple shots.
Is it going to be a safety or is it full-blooded?
I think it has to be safe.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I feel like he's just left the loss of turn late, though. But that has come out really well for him. I thought he was going to try and do something like that very early in this visit. He got rid of 4 of his reds before he did it.
Well, he wanted to do it with the first shot of the visit, but he got it wrong, and that cost him time, and it cost him balls on the table. Declan Brennan has equal capital in this frame, 3 balls each. He's second favourite at this point, but he's a scrapper. That's pretty good. Abdelrahim Benduro breaks off for Morocco and breaks dry. Ronan McCarthy, the master, the reigning world champion, comes to the table. Had his chance in his first frame of the match, didn't take it. Well, that's not ideal for Amin on the far side.
Declan's got a decision to make here. The safety shot's tough because if he leaves any sight of a red, he should lose the frame. But he's on this yellow to the top right, and if he makes it, he'll win the frame. How much do you want to back your potting ability to come up with a screaming pot down the cushion? Honestly, it may be his chance to win this frame. He's going to work out whether there's a better safety option or not. I think the pot's more guaranteed than the safety, if I'm honest. No, he is going to go away from it.
Got to get this cue ball right.
He may be flying down the table here. He may be playing some sort of cannon. Well, he can do it off the one in the middle now instead. So he's being aggressive. That was my point, was he just couldn't be safe.
Lovely long pot, cued in beautifully. It's not guaranteed to come out well.
So
probably needs to fly in with a fair bit of pace.
Yeah, he's odds against, you'd say.
Big shot.
That's not too bad. And what I mean by that is he could play this shot up to the top right with an element of safety. Drop it in dead weight top right and just let the cue ball drift level with the red. He wouldn't leave anything on. Yeah, that's what he's looking at.
Some pot if he makes it, mind.
But if it sits over the pocket and he gets the ball safe and leaves nothing on, then it's job done as well.
Look at this for cueing though. Out of the knuckle of the pocket. It's some effort. It's some effort. It sits on the jaw. I think he's actually just pushed that cue ball a little bit too far up the table. I think this clips back for Amin Amiri in Morocco.
Yeah, maybe half a turn too much. And the yellow's just spit away from the pocket as well, just enough. I wonder if he brushed off the right-hand side as we look, whether that yellow would clip in. Oh, he's going to be aggressive.
Whoa, he's had a result. He's had a result that very nearly went very badly. But he's great, really. Just drop this into the middle. Leave yourself an 8-ball. He's a phenomenal potter, Amin Amiri. He got a spot on the World Snooker Tour a couple of years ago. You got to back your cueing. And he will. Punches that red in. This for 4-all. He's overcut it. He's overcut it.
I'm really surprised he went for the cut rather than the shot in the corner. And if he's thinking about where the cue ball's going to finish as part of that shot, then maybe that's in his head. But as you say, he's a great potter. It's a pot to the corner to win the frame. I think this still clips back in for Deck.
Yeah, it does. Fairly comfortably, I think. Our cameras can be a bit deceiving. This might look a little bit far away. I think this is pretty simple. Yeah, nice and straightforward. Listen to the Northern Irish. Ronan McCarthy gives his congratulations. Declan Brennan goes back in the shed. And he's pretty pleased.
I wonder if Amiri had his chance again, whether he'd go corner or stay with the centre. He's such a good potter.
He's a fabulous cueist. I just think, for me, regardless of cue ball, I think the cut's just a harder shot.
Yeah, for me it is, but every player will see it differently. Some players will prefer the shot in the middle and the corner. I just feel like the corner, you're just queuing through one. It's all in your eye line. It's all comfortable. Obviously, it's a pressure shot. You've got to cue on well, but it's all there in front of you. It's gone now, and they're 2 behind. Maybe not for much longer. That was a brilliant shot. Has it just popped out far enough? It'd be very unfortunate if that red doesn't pass the yellow to the right centre. It does now. A couple of excellent shots to open things up. He's going to need a big positional shot. We'll come back to that one in a minute as we see Big Rab breaking off for Northern Ireland.
Didn't want to hit that yellow. That is a grimace from Abdelrahim Benduro. He did not want to hit that yellow.
Almost a mirror image of what we've just seen missed on the other table now. This time it has to be the thin clip into the right centre. It's a little bit easier than the one missed on the other table, though. It's still not easy.
Overcuts it. The only consolation for Abdelrahim is that this finish on yellows is not easy.
Yeah, Ronan's a master at winning frames in these situations, though. Looks like a fairly obvious shot just to bump one yellow out and use the other yellow to snooker. It'll just be working out what he'd be leaving, how easy would it be to maybe go 2 cushions to get the 8 ball in right centre. So that may be a part of his thinking here.
Morocco may be in a bit of early trouble here.
See, that's the difference. A lot of players would just play the bottom yellow there, bumping out. May well have left 2 cushions and a shot on, so he plays it the other way round. And he's less worried about seeing a sight at the 8 ball as he is making it more awkward. He obviously wanted to get the full ball snooker, but wasn't concerned if he didn't.
He doesn't mind if Abdurrahim moves this 8 ball. He doesn't think he can make it anywhere. Abdurrahim looks like he's going to have a go at 8 ball off yellow here as Rab McCullough takes one down on the right side. Oh, that was some effort. Great effort from Abdurrahim Benduro. But Ronan McCarthy, in playing his percentages, is going to get a bit of a dolly of a chance by his standards to win this frame. I think we both agreed and both admired that Ronan McCarthy shot, but that did have its risk with it. Abdurrahim there went really close.
He wanted to get the snooker, he just did not want to leave the 8 ball hanging over a pocket. And it also meant he bumped 2 balls off a cushion rather than 1. And, he's had to, live on the edge for 1 shot there, but now the balls are laid out for him to chance to clear up.
So break off on the right side after Rob McCullough got the job done. That was against Jawad Tabit as well. And anytime you can keep Jawad Tabit off the table, that is to your advantage.
Good solid hit. This is close.
Oh. Whew. Goodness me.
He's had to survive a couple here, Ronan McCarthy, and that 8 ball sitting there has just caused him half a problem as well.
Lovely shot from Gary Clark.
Yellow on the right-hand side nearest the centre pocket is frozen to the jaw, but I'm pretty sure that stall's going to drop in, no problem. It's how he deals with the one nearest the 8 ball is the question mark here for Ronan McCarthy. Does it squeeze in off the cushion, off the jaw of the 8 ball? If it does, it's definitely a case of playing it now. Don't leave it last because you're moving the 8 ball. Well, he wanted it to drop. He did. But he knew there was a chance it wouldn't. But how do you like these? I mean, it's a tough combination shot.
Well, we saw yesterday, didn't we? Jordan Sinnott of Ireland against Northern Ireland. Make an unbelievable 8-ball on the combo.
This is, I think, significantly harder, though. 8-ball nearest the cushion. The yellow's actually in the side of that pocket. I think he has to take it on. I just don't see he's got any other choice. I mean, he could roll the 8-ball right on top of the yellow, maybe. That's the only other choice. But then, I mean, and Ronan will just play away. I'm not entirely sure what he played there. He didn't play it with enough pace to make the combo. He didn't. He maybe was thinking he could top on and pot it, have the 8-ball set over and knock it in. If he was trying to leave the 8-ball on top of the yellow, it was way too hard. So,
judging by his reaction, it was almost like he was caught in 3 or 4 different minds. Didn't commit to any. The Northern Irish fired up. Ronan McCarthy with this 8-ball for a 7-3 lead. 3 on the spin for Northern Ireland. Little shake of the head from Ronan McCarthy. He knows he got away with one a touch there. And Gary Clark, meanwhile, whilst I've been talking about that, has missed on the table. This is Anna Abrouk at the table for Morocco, and they need a bit of a turnaround here. They've lost, by my reckoning, the last 4 frames in a row.
yeah, last 4.
It was 3-all. Well, if you're Gary Clark here after missing, I think you take this.
And it is confirmed for Morocco, looking at the other results in the table. If they lose this match, they cannot progress in the competition. They have to win their last 2 games and have other results go their way now.
Yeah, India have won. Wales have won. The only team vulnerable to Morocco are France.
And to make matters worse for Morocco, not only are they 7-3 down, and they...
What a shot, Gary Clark.
Come back to that in a second, because Gary Clark's got this 8-ball.
I like the loss of turn shot from Abrouk there. I think that was the right shot. But I think I always think when you're playing, especially team pool, what does your opponent most want to do? Avoid that.
Yeah.
Gary Clark would have taken that chance, you feel. It's like a free hit at a long red. He's a great potter, Gary Clark.
This is close. This is close.
Has he fluked it? No. But there's some mileage in this one.
I'm just going to quickly come back to my point as Ryan Marcus gets us underway on the other side. And make matters worse for Morocco. They're 7-3 down here, and they have to win to have any chance. Their final match in the group stages as well is against the pre-tournament favourites, England. So right now, things looking very tough for them. They need to turn this one around, win their final game, and have other results go their way. But all they can do is fight here. Important to get the snooker here. Important to get the snooker in a good way, because there would be a way of making that 8-ball off one cushion. Ryan goes in off, giving cue ball in hand. Just a strange visit to the table for Morocco on the right. Cleared the one over the pocket and then played it that way. Maybe just didn't get where he wanted to be able to play a good snooker. Right. Looks like he's got the snooker well enough to stop Gary from being able to pot it. Easy enough for Gary to hit this. If he rests into the 8-ball 4-ball, is he opening everything up? Yeah, very good. He risks getting very close to the yellow there to make sure that the 8-ball stayed over the pocket. And now the fact that the ball's no longer over the pocket on the top left just adds more pressure. Well, it was a very brave shot trying to slide the yellow underneath the 8-ball, but I may have left Gary a chance to pot this off the yellow now. And it went in straight. A let off for Gary Clark that he grabs. And they go 8-3 in front. Things very much going Northern Ireland's way. 5 frames on the trot. That should end here. And it does. Finally, Morocco stop the rot. Get going again. 8 frames to 4 now. They're 4 frames behind. But we have seen turnarounds out here on the TV table. Things can turn around when there's 2 frames going on at the same time. Both frames finishing at roughly the same time. Means that slight delay. We're ready to go again. Huge 2 frames, you feel, for Morocco here. And they're going to get the opportunity in the right-hand table. A messy layout, though. Yellows look good, but we have the 8-ball and 1 yellow as a slight problem, but very much a solvable problem.
Abdurrahman Shorfi has been the go-to guy for Morocco in this tournament. It's where they must start if they are to roll away the stone in this match. Shorfi must get things done here. It's so difficult to come from behind when your opponent goes so close to the finish line. Northern Ireland were 9-3 up against Ireland yesterday, and Ireland managed to pull it all the way back to a decider, but that is the exception and not the rule. It's incredibly difficult to do that. Let's put it into context. Morocco must win 7 of the next 9 frames. Ronan Fay breaks off for Northern Ireland, which will complete the second set of matches. He's made the 8-ball, but that's the only ball he's made. Very rare we see that. 8 ball gets replaced, and it's actually going to be Morocco who come to the table. Very rare we see that.
Well, that wasn't the cannon he was looking for, but he'll take the result. I think he must have been thinking about the cannon on the red. Would have held him on both yellows, but it's come out well for him. If the 8 ball goes left centre, which I think it does, then no issues here. Just clip it in thin, track down the big open space. Loads of room to be on the 8 ball. Just potted it a shade thick, making this a nervy enough 8 ball. He's been the star player for Morocco this week. Needs to come up big right now.
Morocco have missed 8 balls in this match. They cannot afford to miss another one.
He's going to the corner.
Boom. And boy, did they need that. Abdulrahman Shorfi is always so stoic. Gives very little away. And how much better a scoreboard does 8-5 look compared to 8-4?
Things turn around quickly on 2 frames. 2 table matches. The question will be, how much is it in Northern Ireland's mind? It's happened to them a few times in the tournament. Being in strong leads and being pegged back.
Well, if Usama Maskini can make this 8-6, you really do feel like it's game back on. I'll not go as far to say that he should. But this is a very good chance.
Just get a turn or 2 higher than straight on the next ball. I think he's slightly worried that he's going to go too far and snooker himself, which is why he's just having a second look at it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of noise in the arena there, just on his backswing, so he gets up off the shot. It's the right thing to do. Yeah. Players are not under a huge amount of time pressure in these matches that you might be used to seeing with Ultimate Pool. These are 45-second shot clocks, which for the majority of these players will actually feel like an ocean of time, really.
Yeah, those that are used to the 15, 45 is a long time. And use the red to get the perfect angle.
8-6. 8-6. Morocco have won the last 3 frames in a row. See there, the man in the center of the picture in the pale blue shirt, that's Omar Moonsheed, part of the Moroccan team that won the World Team Championships almost a decade ago now. He's still a huge fan of his country and the game. He's gone from player to supporter.
Amazing turnaround. Lost 5 on the trot, now 1-3 on the trot. Need to keep that momentum going. Messy layout though.
That's a lovely shot. That red goes middle pocket now. That is a really nice shot.
Declan trying to get cues. See if it's a good chance or not, see if he's happy. Red on the left-hand side now becomes the problem.
He may play into it now.
I think he might have a shade too much angle. Maybe he can just get the yellow. Yeah, just too much.
Definitely tried, didn't he? Issue was, I think he actually just played it too hard.
Yeah, it throws the cue ball just that little bit wider. I don't think even if he floats it in, he could get to it. Always look too wide.
Ronan McCarthy breaking off for Northern Ireland on the left.
This time he can definitely get into it.
That'll do.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Assuming that red still goes right centre, then that's absolutely fine. Okay, there's a couple of small windows to find, but you're in a position where everything now goes.
Ronan McCarthy with a successful break. And these yellows are just sitting. He'd have loved that to have stayed up, mind. Just to give himself a few more options.
He would have loved it to stay up, but I still think he's in perfect shape.
Yeah.
I fully expect Ronan to make the break clearance here.
Oh, I wasn't sure about that. The red on the left is still a problem. He was just a bit straight on that shot, wasn't he?
I thought he might drop that in and try and just hit the gap between the yellow and the 8 ball and then drop it in thin. It would have been a really tough pot, but now it's going to be a really tough pot and he's got to get there, which is hard to do.
Cue ball. Oh, he's had a nudge.
He's had a great nudge because he is there. This clips in.
He has had a real touch here, Anna Abruk. He's got his shovel out in this frame and he is digging deep. This is a massive shot. Just jaws it. Could be a big moment. Ronan McCarthy with a deadly break and run, really, this. That break is one of the best I've ever seen Ronan hit.
Just never in doubt the minute they came out.
You don't often get those sorts of frames at this late stage of team matches. The pool gods just usually aren't that kind. But Amin Amiri is on the receiving end of a routine clearance from Ronan McCarthy. And Northern Ireland have a potential here with Declan Brennan at the table on the other side to go on the hill and knock Morocco out of the tournament.
Obvious problem ball for Declan here. One on the right hand side, he's looking at it right now.
Malta and India both won this morning. It means Morocco must win this match to have any chance of getting into the top 6.
positives are going to be on this? Does he just drop it in, leave an awkward angle on the next ball, or does he really cue this one in well and get perfect?
There's your answer.
Shot. Also in his mind, he may, well, hang on a minute, the way he's looking at this, he's thinking about, is he on this yellow?
Well, if he's not, he's been very unlucky. Because that's the only position on the table in which he's not on this yellow.
I think he is. He's going to bend it. He's digging this just to bend it. Just a hint. Just had to turn it over a hint. No problems at all.
Morocco break off on the left side, and it is going to be dry. No friends. Big moment potentially. It's Ahmed El Wahab on the left side. He's just come in for his first frame in the match against Rab McCullough. And Ahmed is not going to get a ball off the break. Declan Brennan can take Northern Ireland to the hill here, and Rab McCullough can get things done. Because Reds are all there actually on the left side. Northern Ireland go on the hill, it's 10-6. Match has plenty on it for Northern Ireland as well. A win here would knock Morocco out, but it would also take Northern Ireland into the top two. They are currently level on points with Ireland and Wales and India having played a game less. It's incredible actually, whilst Rab makes his way through this finish, how tight the table is. England are top, having played 13, won 11. Northern Ireland are second, having played 12 and won 9. And then third, fourth, fifth and sixth have all played 13, won 9, lost 4.
And I think, though, looking at the table, if Northern Ireland win this, they are mathematically guaranteed to finish second, or at least in the top two, simply because their frame difference is significantly higher than anybody else. So that I think maybe not mathematically secure, but they'd have to, be an unbelievable turnaround. They almost lose their last game 21-0 or something to stop them from being in the semi-finals.
How about those playoff spots there? How close do you like that? Rab McCullough is in perfect position here. Red on the right, red on the left. Hit the gap, pot the 8 ball. He's taken these out beautifully. Rab McCullough looks the absolute mustard in this Northern Ireland shirt, doesn't he?
He's been very impressive, he really has.
Holds on the yellow just to make sure. This 8 ball to win the match. Northern Ireland have done it. A big win for them. It almost guarantees them top two. They will take their place in the semi-final, and it also knocks the Moroccans out. They can no longer win this match. They can no longer qualify. It will be heartbreak for the hosts. The highest they can finish now will be 7th. It is not enough for the top 6 and a shot at the playoffs. And that Northern Irish win will be celebrated by the likes of Ireland, Wales, India and France. There's one less team to gun them down. Huge match therefore coming up in the final round of team matches. Belgium against Malta. Malta must win, and that will take them to 9 victories. France, India, Wales and Ireland therefore all cannot afford to lose, because lose and they are then vulnerable. India play Ireland. That match is enormous.
I think Northern Ireland have France as well. So for Malta, they've got, they can have high hopes of a win being enough to get them in there with one of the top sides playing France, although it doesn't play out that easy.
Yeah, Wales have Senegal. You'd fancy, Wales are enormous favourites for that match. That would be a huge, huge upset if Senegal were to win that. So Wales have got 1 foot in the playoffs. India versus Ireland is now absolutely enormous.
You'd say, especially for India, looking at the frame difference, which it feels like it could come down to, because if Malta were to win, India were to lose, Malta would have the frame difference. So out of the top 6, the most vulnerable right now definitely feels like India and France.
For sure. If you're India and Ireland, you all of a sudden become enormous Northern Ireland fans.
Oh, absolutely.
If they can get the job done against France, they're safe. But that table is absolutely razor tight.
The other thing to note on the schedule is the fact that I don't think they play until Monday, their final round of games, so they're all going to have plenty of time to think about it, what's required, all the different ramifications of results. They'll all know exactly what's what by the time they play Monday evening. We're going to turn our attention to the shootout and the Masters over the next 3 days.
So they'll have plenty of time to think about that final match. I'm not sure what our schedule looks like come that final round, but I would imagine India and Ireland will be front and centre on this table.
Exactly, yeah. It's the same day as the men's and ladies quarterfinals and semi-finals, so we'll have the quarterfinals in the morning for you, lots of them, and then we'll have team matches followed by the individual semis. Plenty of pool on that day for sure. Plenty of very important pool.
And you can watch every single ball that matters at this tournament. We've had a fantastic first week. We're on to day 5 now, but worth pointing out, it is only getting bigger and better. Heading into the second week, there is so much action to come, and you'll see all the frames that matter live on Ultimate Pool TV. You can get your subscriptions in now. For those watching on Ultimate Pool TV, you can ignore this message, you already know. But for those on YouTube, if you want to watch the rest of this tournament, you want to watch the rest of the day, we've got some great matches coming up for you. And subscribe to Ultimate Pool TV. You can use discount codes, you'll find them in the description. WEPF5 for your first month for a £5, WEPF50 for the whole year for 50 quid.
Talking about the matches we've got coming up later, the 2 matches that follow this, England versus France in the ladies, where the 2 formed teams could be an early look at the potential final. Obviously other teams are all going to have a say in that, but the form we've seen so far, that looks like it could be. Australia will take on Ireland as well. Australia going very, very well here this week. Look good for a spot in the semi-finals. Ireland are on the outside looking in, and they have to win that game to have any chance. So 2 big games coming up, especially for Ireland ladies. You just feel just a sense of deflation in the arena. And Morocco obviously fully aware of what this result means. They've been a huge part of this tournament though. Some of their matches, Morocco-India was one of the best spectacles I've seen in the sport. Just absolutely incredible. Really put on a show for us this week. Some mileage in the frame on the right as Gary makes things very messy in the top right hand corner, but not so messy here for Ryan Marcus. Just 2 good bits of cueing to get the 12th frame on the board. A little jabby that one from Ryan, which means he's not got the cue ball as far up the table as he wanted, which now means he's got to cue this tough 8 ball in from hampered queuing. Oh, cues it in like a dream. The young Northern Irish star. Beautiful. Gets his first win in the match. Northern Ireland's 12th. And 2 more frames to go on. The way this frame's going, they could both go on the other table. As this one has plenty of time left in it, you feel. Actually, we could have plenty of mileage in both these frames. That's not opened up on the left at all. Break the 8 ball out here. Yes, it has, but not as much as he wanted. Maybe more pace there just to really get it out in the open. Easy to say in hindsight, though, but he's going to have to play a 3-ball plant, 2-ball plant, and then play a very good positional shot. Oh, you can see the 2-ball plant straight. That helps things massively. No, he couldn't. It's come out well, though, because when he plays the 2-ball plant now, as long as he floats it in, he should leave himself a lovely angle to then come down the right-hand side of the table. No, decided to go for the one over the pocket first, bring it back, and then float it around 2 cushions, I think. Yeah. This is now a tough shot. The line he's trying to find. The yellow in the middle of the table plays huge. Plays it excellently, though. saves the yellow on the way through. Gets himself nicely on this 8-ball. And a frame on the board. Very muted celebrations, not surprisingly, for the Moroccan team. They know their race is run.
The following players in the round 4 league singles, we're just waiting for players to come off the screen.
Nothing inviting at all for Osama here. Just a horrible layout, and not a time you really want to be out there playing. He'll feel very flat like the rest of his teammates. They fought so hard for the past 5-6 days. Our final match, our final frame of the match is underway. It's powerful, but it's not going to be one for Morocco to take on. Northern Ireland will have the opportunity in our final frame. And Ronan Fay with that chance. Nothing really in the way here for Ronan. Should just be able to float through for a second reverse clearance of the match for him. And finally, the frame on the left opens up. Al Moskini should get this one on the board for Morocco as well. Make it 12-8. How big are those missed 8 balls earlier on in this match? Just so many key moments missed in the middle there.
Well, it's where you feel like the match really turned. And these matches are long. They do turn in those middle frames. And that's where ultimately Northern Ireland won it.
Well, they lost 5 on the trot, did Morocco, and they had 8 balls missed in 2 of those 5 from 3-3.
You're always going to struggle to win a match missing those kind of chances.
And just like that, Ronan Fay on an 8 ball for another reverse clearance to round out the match.
The Iceman gets it done. It's a very, very solid win for Northern Ireland. Excellent performance and it does knock the hosts out of the competition. They've given us so much over the last few days, Morocco, but they just fall short in the end. There will be no fairy tale story in the men's world team event. There's always the shootout, though, and we expect to see the Moroccan passion flying high in that one. Stay with us. We're going to try and grab a word with a couple of the Northern Irish boys before we head on over to our next match, which will be England versus France in the women's event. A massive game, that one. Two best teams in the tournament so far finally go head-to-head on the arena table. Looking forward to that. Before that, though, we will chat with a couple of the Northern Irish players. Do stay with us for that one. If you are with us on YouTube, do be aware that this is the end of your free matches. We'll show you the interview at the end. But if you are wanting to see more matches today and indeed for the rest of the week, head on over to Ultimate Pool TV.
that we can do the business when we go in.
Look, I know, and people at home know watching that you're a fantastic player, but do you even feel that your game becomes elevated when you put this Northern Ireland jersey on?
Yeah, team pool's massively different than playing for yourself. There's that sort of honour in a sense too, and I'm playing amongst some of the best players in the world, you know, a double champion, not that I like giving them any credit, like, but the double
He's
champion
all right.
there, that you know, you're looking at him, and it sort of relieves the pressure in a sense where if you are struggling, you know, the likes of him and Decky and Ryan and Gary and the boys are coming, and Dylan, like Dylan's a seasoned warrior, like, you know, we know they're behind us, so there's a bit of that confidence too that you can feed off, which is great to be a part of too.
It's an interesting dynamic, isn't it, Ronan? Because from the outside looking in, you look at this team on paper, and you've got a sort of a mix, really, at least on the rankings of Ultimate Pool Pros and Ultimate Pool Challengers. But actually, you guys are a really even unit, and you put Ronan Fay on the last leg, for example. Always, he's a challenger player. There's no real sort of difference there, is there?
Yeah, look, there's maybe 5 of us pros and 4 amateurs, but there's no real difference. The 4 amateurs are all well capable of being pros, and they probably will be in the incoming years. So we don't see any difference in the pros and the amateurs in our team.
You can just see with Rowan's math skills, they're talking about Ryan, 5 pros and 4 amateurs. There's only 8 in our team, like, you know, that was 9. Just in case anybody else missed that there. Just to keep
I was talking about Sean as well. he's part of the setup as well. Like.
It's a fantastic team unit. Obviously, you are almost guaranteed, I think, now a spot in that top 2, so a semi-final spot. Will you be paying attention to other results to see you draw, or not too fussed?
No, I don't. Us in England are probably going to be top 2, so I don't think there's much in the other 4 teams.
Well, the league table is exactly the same. It's
crazy.
I
I think it's very, very close, as you see by the results. I don't think it matters. I think we just have to turn up on the day and play our best pool, and we'll be very hard to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. That's been the case so far, and we wish you very best luck for the rest of the tournament. You guys take a break now on the team event till next time. So the next time we'll see you together on the table will be in the shootout, which we are very, very excited for. Ronan, we'll see you later on in the singles as well.
Cheers,
Congratulations on a great performance, boys. We will see you very soon, and we will see you in just a moment. It's England versus France next out on the arena in the women's competition. These two have been going exceptionally well. Join us in a sec.